All right. This is the bridge unit, and this is the instructions on how to set up the bridge and the rules and those types of things. So basically, you're building a bridge. You're building a bridge with 150 popsicle sticks. It'll probably look like this. All right. You're going to end up you're going to get a handout to go with this tape. Make sure that you actually read it. But the handout basically says that you're only going to make the bridge out of popsicle sticks and glue. You'll have 150 popsicle sticks and good old-fashioned Elmer's school glue. And you're not going to use more than 150, and you are going to be able to use clamps to hold the sticks together while they're gluing. See, the thing is, when you glue these sticks together, Elmer's glue takes a couple minutes to dry. So if you put a drop of Elmer's between two sticks like this, you either have to hold the two sticks together while they're drying, or you can use some kind of clamp like a clothespin to hold those two sticks together. And while that glue is drying, you can set that aside and glue another two sticks together. So if you have a lot of clothespins or binder clip kind of things like you've seen me have in class, those are good clamps so that when you're setting up something like this, you can actually clamp that together while the glue's drying so that you can work on other parts of your bridge. This bridge has a time limit. You're going to be doing the bridge entirely in class, and you're only going to have 4 class periods and 3 after-school optional times. And that's it. You've got to do the bridge entirely at school because in the past we've had students who've taken the bridges home and we get bridges back that look decidedly like a parent has done most of it. So this bridge has got to be done entirely in school. You may work either with one other person, so it's either a team of 2 or by yourself. Mr. Peterson sometimes has other rules for that, so make sure you talk to him just in case he's got something different planned. You're only going to use 150 popsicle sticks, and you can use glue, but you can't coat your bridge with glue. The bridge needs to be freestanding. Now that's kind of a strange thing. What that means, freestanding, is that I can't be holding the bridge together while we're testing to see how strong it is. So the bridge has to be able to stand all by itself when we're done. And the bridge needs to have sides. Now, when you're dealing with the bridge, when we're learning about bridge, we learn about beam bridges, which are just the road, and truss bridges, which is this type of bridge right here. And we learn a little bit about arch bridges, and this would probably qualify as an arch bridge. And so you learn about these different types of bridges. The bridge that you build for me has to be either a truss bridge or an arch bridge or some other bridge that has sides. You cannot have a bridge that's just a road without a point deduction. If you get stumped and you only have a bridge with a beam bridge, you can still build it, but there's going to be a hefty point deduction for that. When you actually build the bridge, there needs to be a level surface that looks like a road. The road has to be big enough that a matchbox car could actually travel across your bridge. All right? So you want to make sure that your bridge has a road. Now that road might have spaces in it, and that's okay as long as it's not so big the matchbox car goes through the road. The bridge design needs to include space for something called a load bar. So when you're building the bridge, we're going to set it up like this. And you've got this thing here, this is called the load bar, and it's going to go through the center of the bridge. Then we're going to take a bucket. You want to toss me the bucket? That ought to be an interesting view there. We're going to take a bucket, and we are going to hang the bucket from this load bar. Then we're going to fill the bucket with sand. That's how we're going to determine how strong your bridge is. If your bridge holds the empty bucket, just empty, just like this, you're guaranteed to see as long as it's long enough and it's got sides and it's got all the, and you weren't a pain to work with during class and it hasn't had any other point deductions. All right, but then you start to fill the bucket with sand. Every kilogram of sand is an extra point. Full bucket, you might even get some extra credit if you manage to get the bucket completely full. So this is the setup. So that means there's got to be a space for this bar. So this bridge is the design that I recommend. This bridge was built by a teacher, but you see there's plenty of room for the bar there. I don't know who built this bridge, but it would take a point deduction. No place for bar. Maybe they could argue for this direction, this way. They make this top part their road. But then it's a little bit tricky as to whether or not that would be acceptable. It depends on your teacher. So you'd have to talk to your teacher whether this would be an acceptable bridge or not. All right? This one here looks fine, can go through. But what if, notice that they have 5 triangles. What if they only tried for 4 triangles? And this was the middle. This would be a point deduction. If the bar's in the middle, but it's not flat on the road, there's a point deduction there. You have to make sure that the middle of the road has a flat spot for the beam. All right? And it shouldn't have to go through crooked. It should be able to go nice and flat. And there shouldn't be any ridges on the side that keep the load bar from being on the road. All right? Let's see. Needs to be 40 centimeters. Oh, there's something I missed. The road needs to be 2 layers thick or 1 layer thick. This is a little tricky to understand. A lot of students, they think the strength of the bridge is the road, and that's not correct. It's actually the sides that make the bridge strong. So the road can only be 1 layer thick, maybe 2 layers thick, but that's about it. All right, and you'll have to talk to your teacher or look at these examples more closely to understand what that is. Let's see. That's most of it. Can you think of any questions, Peterson, that I missed? It wasn't the most exciting video I've ever done. I think that's it. Okay.